JBN, we keep you informed. Rifle and handguns seized in Spanish Town. The security forces on Thursday recovered 3 illegal weapons, 3 magazines, and 60 rounds of assorted ammunition in Lake Spence, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. According to the security forces, at approximately 10:06 a.m., a joint police-military mobile patrol team approached 4 armed men who opened fire on them. The patrol team returned fire and the men ran. A subsequent search of the area was conducted and the following items were seized: 1 FR sniper rifle, 1 Smith & Wesson pistol, 1 9mm Browning pistol, 1 FR sniper rifle magazine, 2 9mm magazines, 36 5.56 mm live rounds, 24 9mm live rounds. 3 persons were detained in connection with the find. The detainees' weapons and ammunition were subsequently taken to the Central Village Police Station for processing. St. James Police arrest 2 people in gun seizure. 2 people were arrested in St. James yesterday after officers seized a gun and several rounds of ammunition. According to the police, officers seized a 9mm Beretta pistol and 49 assorted rounds of ammunition during an operation in Farm Hill in the parish. Man killed in Spanish Town, hit and run. The police have launched a manhunt for the driver of a motor vehicle that claimed the life of a man yesterday on Kid Lane, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Dead is 48-year-old Gregory Mikulski, a phone technician of Delacree Park Housing Scheme, Kingston 11. According to the police, Mikulski was walking along the roadway about 9:35 p.m. when he was reportedly hit by a motor vehicle which did not stop. The police were called and Mikulski was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police are appealing to anyone with information who can help in identifying the driver of the motor vehicle to contact the Hunts Bay CIB at 876-923-7230, Crime Stop at 311, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. I hate the media. Lucy Mayer sounds off on local journalists, declaring that there appears to be an agenda to make his administration look bad. Lucy Mayor Sheridan Samuels told Thursday's sitting of the Unova Municipal Corporation HMC that he hates the media. Samuels, who was chairing the monthly meeting of the HMC, attacked recent media reports highlighting the dirty and unhealthy state of the parish, which was recently overwhelmed by a foul scent from drains that had feces dumped into them from compromised drainage pipes. Devon Brown, the counsel for the Hopewell Division, who recently told the Gleaner that the HMC had received funding for drain cleaning and gave the mayor an ultimatum to start using the funds, intervened during the mayor's rant and asked him why he was so bitter against the media. I am not just bitter, I hate the media. I hate the media. And as a matter of fact, not just the media. I hate some people who work in the media, blurted out Samuels, much to the surprise of his colleagues. Samuels went on to argue that some aspects of a recent Gleaner report about the dirty state of Lucy were inaccurate, and he intimated that there was a plot to make the administration look bad. You must report and report correctly, Samuels shouted, turning his glare on members of the media. You have sent in an article the other day that I say that I spoke to the minister about cleaning the drains, and that was not correct. But I know why you're behaving so, but I'll not tell you now. In December 2017, the HMC banned members of the media from its Physical Planning, Environment and Development Committee meeting. However, their action was condemned by local government minister Desmond McKenzie, who instructed that the ban be lifted. At a subsequent meeting of the committee, Samuels apologized for the ban, describing it as a misunderstanding. Record clerk sentenced to 6 months imprisonment for corruption. Record clerk Horace Gale was on Thursday sentenced to 6 months in prison for breaches of the Corruption Prevention Act. Gale pleaded guilty to 1 count of soliciting and accepting under the act. The police reported that he was arrested last November after he was accosted by the Inspectorate and the Professional Standards Oversight Bureau during a sting operation, accepting $45,000 he had earlier arranged to collect. The police say the sum represents the remainder of a total of $110,000 he had solicited to produce and deliver a clean police record for an applicant who is ineligible based on the applicant's criminal record. If you don't love it, leave it. Tufton tells nurses to be more committed to patients than pay. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has issued a stern warning for nurses to quit if they do not love their jobs and are more motivated by pay than by empathy and compassion for the patients they serve. The minister's statement was delivered at the 9th annual striping ceremony for the University of Technology's Caribbean School of Nursing at the St. John's Methodist Hall in Montego Bay on Friday. I want to say to you as students, make sure you love what you do, and if you don't love it, leave it. The only way you're going to practice with compassion is if your heart and soul is in it and it's not for the money, Tufton told the 216 nursing students participating in the ceremony. While acknowledging that patients can often be abusive to medical personnel, Tufton said that nurses must be able to counter that treatment with professionalism. We live in a society today where brutish behavior is more the rule than the exception. If you approach your profession from a standpoint of being just about the paycheck, you're not going to be able to deal with the customer from hell, the most disagreeable client you can come across, said Tufton. If you don't have the right approach, a fight will break out in the hospital, and we have had a few of those. If you don't appreciate that you're dealing with a society where, unfortunately, law, order, and good behavior are more the exception than the rule, it becomes that much more of a stress and a strain on you, added Tufton. But the minister's statement might cause some pushback from union leaders who have characterized working conditions as untenable. More than 500 nurses exit the professional annually, a trend driven by low pay, high levels of frustration, and burnout. The most high-profile row at a public health facility last year was a November bus stop between then People's National Party Councillor Carrie Douglas and a doctor at the Bustamante Hospital for Children. Douglas sought medical intervention for her son, whose health was ruled a non-emergency after triage. The councillor unleashed an expletive-laden tirade and stormed into the doctor's examination room and prevented her from leaving. Though Douglas's conduct sparked outrage, she received support in some quarters from critics who described many medical personnel as uncaring and hostile. In October 2018, the Ministry of Health launched its Compassionate Care Program to improve clinical services through training of staff in customer service, improvement of basic infrastructure, and boosting volunteerism to aid the delivery of compassionate care. $2.3 billion to construct, renovate police buildings. The government has budgeted $2.3 billion to construct and renovate police stations and other facilities to boost the fight against crime. The project, entitled Construction and Improvement of Police Buildings, is being implemented by the Ministry of National Security, as outlined in the 2020-2021 Estimates of Expenditure, now before the House of Representatives. The money will also go towards the construction of the Forensic Pathology Autopsy Suite in Kingston, completing the renovation and refurbishing of 40 police stations islandwide, and the conclusion of pre-investment activities for the two new police divisional headquarters. The project is being financed from the Consolidated Fund and is slated for completion in March 2020. Physical achievements up to December 2019 include a 95% completion of the Caribbean Regional Drug Law Enforcement Training Center Building Phase 1 and renovation and rehabilitation of 40 police facilities island-wide. PMP concerned about lack of coronavirus screening at cruise ship ports. People's National Party PMP Shadow Minister of Health, Dr. Maurice Guy, says the government needs to urgently respond to the growing disquiet in the cruise shipping industry about the inadequacy of the island's preparedness for the potential spread of the coronavirus. According to Dr. Guy, stakeholders have reported that the industry is facing potential economic fallout as they cannot guarantee Jamaica's readiness to sufficiently screen cruise ship visitors coming into the island. They have indicated that they are not seeing the level of preparedness in Jamaica as in other countries, and the passengers have already begun to express concern, Dr. Guy said. Reports are that there is no screening being done at the ports, and there is a possibility that in this environment, infected persons may get to the general population and cause the spread, Dr. Guy said, pointing out that government needs to ensure that no life is put at risk because of failure to act ahead of time. Over the past 3 days, with 10 cruise ships calling at our ports and potentially over 20,000 visitors disembarking, the concern is even greater that we do not have the requisite facilities and resources to process these persons, he charged. With the expected cruise ship arrivals over the next weeks, Dr. Guy is calling on the Minister of Health to tell the nation what are the actual plans in place at the ports. We're calling on the Minister to quickly establish quarantine facilities in the West as a matter of urgency, as the more points of entry are located in the western part of the island. With the rise in deaths now at over 1,400 and total cases over 65,000, it is even more urgent that these mitigating measures be put in place, he said. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.